Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Deep Dive Music Reactions. My name is Danny, and today I will react to Bob Dylan's book Chronicles that I just recently finished reading. So, this is the first time that I will be reacting or trying to review a book that I read. And hit the like button if you enjoy this type of content. If you would like to see me react to more books that I read from musicians and bands, and let me know in the comments what are your favorite ones. Of course, I reacted to many Bob Dylan records in the past, but if you want to see those videos, check the playlist. You have 10 albums, song by song, already there. So, to start with um, with the review, let me just say it's not your typical this happened, then happened, that kind of memoir. It's Dylan, so of course it's a poetic, a little bit messy, and full of surprises. And yeah, I will share what stood out for me, some of my favorite parts, and what I think about if this book is worth of your time. So as I said, Chronicles is not like other autobiographies. Is if you're expecting Dylan's trying to spill the juicy behind the scenes gossip or give detailed time about his career, it's definitely not that. But you'll be yeah, practically waiting for forever. Instead, he kind of zooms in on his certain moments, snapshots, really, and that shaped him as a person and as an artist, I believe. So, I mean, if you know his poetry, he just writes books like that as well. His words flow like his lyrics, sometimes straightforward, sometimes totally out of there, but always interesting. And it feels less like reading a book and more like sitting down with him for a long chat over a cup of coffee, for example. It's unpredictable, but that's part of the charm. And because of this, it kind of grabbed my attention more or less through the reading. I did not enjoy all the parts uh, equally, but what I did enjoy is when he would uncover something about himself. Um, but I'll catch up on more thoughts about that a bit later. So when we are talking about his writing style, he doesn't hold your hand or explain every little thing. He just writes, and you have to keep it up. So some sections feel like pure poetry, like when he describes New York City in the 60s, and this is one of my favorite parts of the book because he talks about the energy of the streets and the smell of the air, the sounds of people and music everywhere. But what stood out for me is that I was able to picture myself there. I was able to, I was super interested to kind of hear these little stories. Like he was walking down the street and he saw someone sleeping in a car in a rough New York winter, and his first time coming to Cafe Va, and especially because I visited one time, I visited New York City and I've been to West Village. Um, I was able to picture myself there or look at Bob Dylan at that age walking down the street. So yeah, I mean, you can almost picture yourself walking alongside him. Then in the next spread, he'll casually throw in some deep reflection about fame or identity, and you're just like, yeah, where did that came from? But for me, it was also something that I really appreciated. He's desperately trying to bring this spotlight of him. And when I here and there watch some interviews or video clips in general from him talking about his fame and people calling him this and that, he's always rejecting terms like legendary and icon and stuff like that. And you can definitely hear how he battles with that status in his book as well. And I won't lie, at times it feels a bit scattered, but if you're a Dylan fan, you'll probably love that about it. So it's so him. It's raw, honest, and unapologetic. Um, what else? Yeah, one thing that really grabbed me is how much Dylan reflects on creativity. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He talks about the struggles, the frustration, and how inspiration doesn't just fall into your lap. He goes into details about his influences, and this goes like really deep. I was having a hard time following all these names, and I wish I kind of it took more time. Like when you're reading, you want to read more, but with all these names being mentioned that I never heard, you kind of want to stop and just quickly research. That's how our mentality these days works. You just want to kind of quickly research and maybe play some music, just like in documentary. But in a book, you just go over those names. And I especially liked the segment of the book when he's writing about uh, 80s or end of 80s when he was preparing Oh Mercy, how difficult that album came about, how big of a struggle was to find the right tune. And he didn't actually he when he was writing political world lyrics to the song, he just yeah, felt like he needs to put it on the paper, but had no idea or clue how to or where it should belong to, or that he will ever record a new album. So like he's not just saying, "Oh yeah, I've listened to an artist and he's like and he like his stuff." And now he's more like breaking down what, for example, Woody Guthrie represented to him and how it shaped his worldview. Same with Robert Johnson and other legends. What I also enjoyed was another big theme that he enjoyed, and that was like a reinvention. He's been called like a king of reinvention for a reason, and in this book you see why. He talks about the pressure of fame and how it almost crushed him at one point. But instead of giving up, he stood back, reassessed, and found new ways to keep moving forward. And it's such a powerful reminder, actually, to everyone that even the biggest icons have to hit the reset button sometimes. Talking about reimagination, I really liked how he describes the folk. That is, he gave me like a really, really good definition and understanding what folk is and what folk music is about. And just seeing him going through some private collections and libraries in New York, finding these tales of unsung heroes from the past or little known heroes from the past, and how these stories kind of inspired him. That was a big moment for me in the book. Definitely the one that I have enjoyed. What else? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the structure because it's different. So it's not linear. It's 1 minute he's talking about his early days in New York, and the next he's reflecting on the 80s or sharing a random memory that might seem small or but ends up being super meaningful. And I came across this style of writing in a recent book by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who also had a memoir about his childhood. I'll talk about that book in another video, but going back to Dylan, at first he's wait, where are you going with this? But then I realized that's kind of a point, right? It's like a mix of Dylan's life, bits and pieces here and there. When you put them together, you get a pretty good sense of who he is. And honestly, it's refreshing. So we are so used to neatly packed stories, but life isn't like that, and neither is Dylan's storytelling. Let's say it like that. There are so many little gems in the book that I can't stop think about. For example, his description of again Woody Guthrie for the first time. It's so heartfelt. You can feel how much Guthrie meant to him, not just as a musician, but as a symbol of something bigger. And let's see. Then there's this whole section about making the new Morning, the album in the 70s. He was in this weird place creatively and personally, and the way he describes pulling himself out of that, it's raw and relatable. And of course, there are random anecdotes scattered through, like the time he um, talks about having a dinner with Bono and showing him a political world, for example. And then Bono said, "Yeah, I have a, sorry, the producer that you can record with, David Lanoy." And yeah, these moments add so much personality to the book. You can see them. Everyone else went to bed or went home, and him and Bono just after midnight talking at the table. It's really something else. Um, what I love about Chronicles is how human it feels. Actually, it's he's not trying to come off as an untouchable genius. He's messy, complicated, full of contradictions. He talks about his insecurities, his mistakes, and the time he felt totally lost. And I believe him. I mean, especially because I already mentioned in the interviews, in video interviews, you can see this that he is always struggling with this iconic status that he has. He's not comfortable with it, and it's just not. And the book is not just about his career, it's about life. It's about figuring out who you are and staying true to that, and even if the world is trying to put you in box. I remember when he was saying that he just wanted to be unknown, going to a restaurant, not everyone staring at him, and having a normal life with his children when they were growing up. There were toys everywhere, creative mess. But outside, there were a lot of paparazzi or just journalists who wanted to get a bit of him. And I think this is why this book resonates so much. Whether you're a diehard fan or just someone who loves a good story, there's something in here for you, I believe. So would I recommend this book? I think so. But if go into it knowing that it's not a typical memoir, it's a journey, it's something a bit chaotic but always fascinating. And for me, the biggest takeaway is actually the this um, understanding who he is, how he felt. I think I know him better, although more few will say that not everything in this book is true. And I can live with that. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's being dishonest. Maybe he's just keeping something to himself, or just messing with us for the fun of creativity and like literature freedom in writing, right? But overall, I really enjoyed it. I love, as I mentioned, I love the folk segment, New York 60th Days, Oh Mercy, when he's talking about that. And if you read this book, I would love to hear from your side what stood out for you. And let's talk about it in the comments. And yeah, if you haven't read it yet, I will leave some affiliate links in the comments. It doesn't cost you anything to purchase, anything extra to purchase these books on Amazon, but it will definitely give me a buck here and there if you purchase using the link that I share in the description. And if you want to go an extra mile, feel free to buy me a cup of coffee or to PayPal me. The links are also in the description. And yeah, that's all for today's deep dive on this Bob Dylan's Chronicles Volume 1. Hopefully one day we'll get Volume 2. Until then, see you next year. Have a good New Year's Eve. Take care and bye bye.